this is a conversation that's kind of gone under the radar, I think, in a lot of respects, because the only people who are really talking about it are people that are in the America First movement. I am not seeing this even being covered even a little bit in what I would consider populist left circles. So I think it's very important that we do talk about this. This is the clip that I saw that I thought was kind of like the touch point. And for those who obviously have been following our channel, you guys know what I think of Eyal Yakoby. I do not hide my feelings about him. I think he is not only a grifter, but he's basically a foreign agent. Everything he does operates on behalf of the state of Israel. This is somebody who is a full-blown Nepo baby. He grew up in privilege in Princeton, New Jersey. His father is from Israel. He is a professor at my freaking alma mater, Rutgers University. And when I start thinking about all of when you really unmask all of, I mean, again, you can go down so many rabbit holes with so many people in terms of how they got to where they got. But it is pretty clear that in Eyal's case, he kind of had the red carpet rolled out from him from the time he was a child. And so now he is invited. Why Brandon invited him, I don't know. Then again, he was the more tame. He was even more tame than the other Looney Tune who was on that panel, which we'll talk about. But this to me really said a lot. And your temperance here, I thought, was obviously you were going to blow your top, but you were able to hold it together.
Days ago. That's not a fucking win. It's a massive sacrifice.
Who said that? That's the goal, though.
Wait. They were just trading in the U.S. dollar. That doesn't mean we ran straight. That's just the currency.
We're not going to run straight anyway, because they can always control the drones.
I would like the JCPOA back. When did I ever say that?
Because you want them to not have a nuke. That's what the fucking JCPOA was.
You didn't hear me the first time, so I'll restate it. JCPOA.
I don't need to hear it, bro. They had the JCPOA and they didn't develop a nuke.
You're just lying. You're like the JCPOA.
They didn't develop a nuke.
They didn't develop a nuke because of concerted efforts in terms of cyber hacking, which we've already been over, and assassinations against the top nuclear scientists.
There was inspections. There was regular inspections for years.
No, there wasn't.
So you align more with Obama's foreign policy, is what you're saying?
On Iran, absolutely. Okay. Obama was absolutely right about the JCPOA. Right, it was the best thing he ever did.
It's just lies.
Okay, so it's not a lie, but he's paid to say that. Yeah, I would say that if you're looking at anything to hang your hat on from the Obama administration, that's probably the best thing that he did. It was pretty significant at the time, no question about it.
At least in terms of foreign policy, I think it's, for a non-interventionist, granted, that's not really non-intervention. It's still intervention to try and dictate whether or not another country can have nuclear weapons. But in the A-B options that we're given as Americans, it's basically either kill them or have an agreement on paper that says we're not going to develop nukes. Well, obviously, I'm going to go with option B. I would really rather not go to war. So I stand by that. I think that was the best thing that Obama did. And I think that the JCPOA was actually really successful. Iran stuck to it. The IAEA inspected for all of the years. And they, along with our State Department, which confirmed it, along with other foreign countries, which also confirmed it, said that Iran was not enriching past 3.67%. That's just the facts. Like if Eyal wants to say that the UK government and the American government and our State Department and everybody else. And by the way, this was under Donald Trump. This was 2017, 2018. His people were saying that they were sticking to their promises, that they were not enriching past the 3.67%, that they had not. That there was a fatwa against development of a nuclear weapon, and it appeared that they genuinely were sticking to that it was against their religious values to create a nuclear weapon, and that they were not pursuing one. So it just makes me furious when it's obviously factual what I'm saying, and he's calling me a liar. And I'm like,
look, I even see people in the chat now saying F Obama. It's like, guys, we're not here to support Obama. Well, what I know for a fact, if you look back on it now, when you think about how much money the Israel lobby spent to make sure that when Trump got in, that he would undo the Iran nuclear agreement. That took an ungodly amount of money. Miriam Adelson, I have no doubt, played a big role in that as well. So you could say what you want about Obama, and I have absolutely zero love for the guy, but he did get that right. And he got it right because of how Israel reacted to it. To me, that says it.
No, exactly right. And this is just my opinion. I can't prove it, but I believe that the tearing up of the JCPOA was Trump's promise to Adelson in his first presidential term, that he would do that, because it was very hard fought. People don't understand the amount of political capital that Obama had to expel to get that done, that it was totally against the will of AIPAC or the RJC. Like everybody that was, Israel Zionist aligned really didn't like the JCPOA because it took the lie off the table. It took the threat of Iran developing a nuclear weapon or surreptitiously developing a nuclear weapon under the cover of darkness. It took it off the table. There was inspections all the time. They knew that they weren't developing one. So all of the Bibi Netanyahu lies about how they were very close to having one and we needed to bomb them or, ground invade or whatever else, it all fell on deaf ears as long as the JCPOA was in place. So I think that Trump in his first term tore up the JCPOA in 2019 on his way out the door because that's what he promised Adelson. And I think that he bombed them in his second term because that's what he promised them. That's my honest opinion.
Yeah, and I do agree. Moving the embassy to Jerusalem obviously didn't help either, and that's another reason to point to the hostilities that have obviously gone nuclear at this point. No pun intended. But we'll finish this up.
Yeah.
It's like the JCPOA fully allowed them to have multiple underground facilities as they do today and develop as much nuclear enrichment as possible. No, there wasn't. The IAEA.
You're a liar. You're a liar.
Okay, anyone watching this, go online and see what
Look
the
it up. Look it
IAEA
up.
said
Look it up.
themselves.
It's amazing. It's like you could tell which guys are going to the Daily Wire Ben Shapiro School of Debating, that they all follow the same pattern. Speak loud, speak effectively, be a semi-comprehensive, comprehended linguist of sorts, and run with that. And in his case, he's tall, he's got a deep voice, he's Israeli. So, he thinks that people are going to listen to him, that, he's got something to offer here. But no, he doesn't. And it obviously, I'm sure that there is more that you can talk about now that we did not see, because we're not going to sit here and just play clips all night. I want to know what else you took away from that conversation, anything in particular when it comes to Yakoby, because we're obviously going to get to the conversation about Epstein, which was the creme a la creme of the whole night.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I think the thing that I really took away from it was, one, there's really no difference between the MAGA side and neocons at this point. Like anybody who is still riding with MAGA has an imperialist empire worldview for America. Like even Gavin McInnes, which, I like, but man, I couldn't disagree with him more. Like all of them. Yeah, maybe you could be right. I really don't know.
What other reason could there possibly be? I mean, at this point, you look around, you see what's going on. Our country is literally collapsing under its own weight, and people have no idea how hard we're going to be getting hit with inflation by the end of the summer, how much worse things are going to get in terms of costs. Who the hell knows what's going to happen tomorrow? I want to remain optimistic that we might get something done positive, but as long as Israel is involved with our country,
they'll blow up every
nothing
deal.
Positive is ever going to come of it. That's my opinion.
Yeah, they'll blow up every deal, and they absolutely don't want any deal to be signed this weekend. So I would suspect that one won't be. I mean, as far as why Gavin has that worldview, I try and always give people the benefit of the doubt and believe that it's sincere disagreement, that it's not bought. And my read of him is that it's sincere, that he has kind of the old school American superiority complex, and while you and I agree that America is essentially collapsing under its empire, he would argue that the way you save America is by increasing its wealth via the empire, which is obviously insane and ridiculous. But I think that's a sincerely held belief. I could be wrong. With Eyal, really the whole panel, and I said this on my show, and it sounds like sour grapes, but like we won the debate, so it's not sour grapes. I honestly believe that there's an intellectual divide too. It's not just principle. Like there is a real incapacity for some of the folks on the opposition side to understand like high level economics, to understand second, third order effects. Like they really don't get what I'm saying sometimes. Like when I was trying to argue like what you guys are saying, like your win condition for the Iran war is what existed in 2019 before Trump tore up the JCPOA. Like they couldn't even process it, like it was like I was speaking, alien or something. But that's obviously what they were saying. They want to have, actually, it would be even weaker. Y'all said he wants a memorandum of understanding that they're not going to develop a nuclear weapon. I was like, we had better than an MOU. We had an actual signed agreement that was enforced by, it was a multilateral agreement between multiple foreign powers too, that were all interested in enforcing it and making sure that it was valid and being lived by. So there's a real intellectual gap there. You could write it off as maybe it's not intellectual and that they're paid to lie. That's certainly possible. But I'm just being honest. Like, I felt as if it was sincere that they could not process some of the things I was talking about. Like they really.
I would say that either on the one hand, they don't know how to process it, or they are paid not to understand. There is such a thing.
And it's both at different topics.